Hello to Loyal Real News. Today is April 2nd, 2020. And I want to express my aims with this channel. My aims are as follows. I want to inform others of the real news going on around them. I hope to share info about different cultures and customs and laws and governments. I want to let the viewers learn English. I want to create an environment where others can share and learn, and I research real news to share with you so you can save your time. With all that in mind, let me share today's topics. Topics of the day: advance pay for players while the NBA is on hold. Then Laos climbs 2 spaces on 2019 corruption index. Third, Korean parents and educators struggle with online education. Then Vietnam proposes an electricity rate cut. After that, Vietnam in hard times, opportunities arise. Later, Myanmar sailors are rescued. And lastly, ultraviolet light may kill the bug. Stay tuned and let's talk about these topics. Okay, our first topic of the day, Rahu Jin and Cho Shin Soo to receive advance pay while MLB is on hold. Here's our article. Rahu Jin of the Toronto Blue Jays and Cho Shin Soo of the Texas Rangers will be paid $4,775 per day in advance pay to cover the first 60 days of the Major League Baseball season, what has been postponed by the outbreak of the virus. The Associated Press reported on Tuesday that the MLB agreed with players' associations to pay veteran players $200,886,500 or $4,775 a day for the period of from March 27th to May 25th, as it delayed the opening day until mid-May at the earliest. Okay, so I'm going to stop here, so I'm not going to read the whole article, but wow, it's kind of, I brought this up the other day, that when the basketball, the hockey in America was canceled, what was happening to the athletes? Are they getting paid? Are they staying home? Are they doing anything for the community? Well, at least we know that the baseball players here are getting paid a nice little welfare check in some aspects that to do nothing. But hey, at least they must probably still train and go to the gym every day, whatnot. So that's what's happening with these two. Why don't you let me know about your community? How are your sports teams handling this? And what do you do since you don't play or watch sports right now, since everything is closed down? Please tell me below. Okay, moving on to our next story. Laos climbs 2 spaces in 2019 corruption index. Now, let's read the story first. Laos has been ranked 130 on the 2019 Corruption Percentage Index, CPI, 2 places above last year, becoming one of the few countries in Southeast Asia to see less corruption. The CPI released Transparency International ranks of 180 countries and territories by their perceived levels of public sector corruption, according to the experts and business people. Now, I want to bring this up because many people always say, well, you know, if I'm here, if I'm there, I'm going to America, I'm going to Britain, I'm going to Australia, everything is great. You know, there's a lot of things that people don't always know that are going on, or they don't realize that their life could be worse. So this drew my interest because I didn't even know there was an index. Okay, so I did a little research and I wanted to know who had the best countries. So I did bring a chart up. Congratulations, Denmark. Denmark, they say, is the least corrupt country in the whole world. In this chart, from 1 to 40, this first half is North America and Europe. So Denmark, wow, the Care Bears. Okay, Canada, United Kingdom, Hong Kong are ranked pretty high too. China, on the other hand, is on this top list, which I don't know, which is big contrast to Hong Kong. On the other hand, South Korea is in the middle. And most people will know, like in Vietnam, which is the next page, they'll say, well, if you want to get anything done, you have to give a bribe. You bribe this official, pay this police officer this, which I'm okay with all of that because whatever, it's custom, it's normal. Just as most Americans would say, well, you have to pay us 20% tip because we're working for you. In my opinion, tipping in America is somebody hires you to provide a service of the business, but they don't want to pay you the wage. So they go, you can legally beg here, and people will give you money versus you standing on the street begging, which is illegal. So that's always been my contrast with that. So anyway, how do you feel about corruption? Does it really affect your country? Or what do you wish you knew to change it, or what do you like about your country? How do you feel safe? Leave your comments below. Moving on to South Korea. Parents, educators struggle to prepare for online classes. Okay, so we talked about this the other day, but when I read this article, it brought up a few interesting questions. In this article, a mother has two children. Okay, but she's like, I have one laptop, and I can't afford another. So when you have more than one kid, how you can get the laptops? Korea government, they're trying to work with the PC companies and the mobile providers to get free internet and such. But this also brought up other issues too, because think of yourself when you're a kid, and your mom says, "I'm going out to go shopping, clean your room." Well, you clean your room, watch it out, or do you play video games? These parents, they have to work, but they can't work because they have to stay at home with these elementary, middle school kids and make sure they attend their 6-hour classes. So that also defeats the purpose of, well, even if you had a babysitter would do that. There's these daycare centers, but you can't have a daycare center either, because how do you have a daycare center if you have those 5 or 10 kids in that room? Now you can't do that. So I can understand how this is affecting the mothers, or at least some parent in the workplace, and kids not necessarily going to do their work without adult supervision. On top of that, this brought up a second point. When their semester is going to start on April 9th, and the teacher's like, I've never even seen my students. I have no rapport with my students. So they don't respect me. They don't even know me. So how am I going to make a rapport with my students, and how can I keep them motivated? So I'd like to hear your comments as the parents, the teachers, or the students. How would you solve these kind of issues? How would you make sure the kid is on task? How would you, as a teacher, keep your student motivated that's a complete stranger to you? And as a parent, how do you deal with this issue that you have to work but you can't because your kid has to be home supervised while you're online? Leave your comments below. Moving on, in Vietnam, the government is proposing to put a 10% cut on electricity for power bills. Now let's read this article. So the Minister of Industry and Trade has proposed cutting power bills for businesses and households over the next 3 months to help them cope with the bug. The plan, which has been submitted to the PM, would involve reducing power bills for households with consumptions of less than 300 kilowatts per month, or 10%. The total estimate reduction would be around 2.9 trillion, or 123 million US dollars. Okay, so I want to bring this up because I have seen, teachers and doctors, nurses' salaries, and most earn, say, between 400 and 1,000 a month, and those are actually professionals. So the ones that don't have that earn much less, like $100 or $200 a month, US. So the government is taking these steps because they can't exactly print money. In America, they're going to give everybody a free $1,200 check, well, most people. So my question for you is, what is your country? What are your corporations? Are your community? What are they doing to help out? I know it's hard to get involved in like getting in groups because of the virus, but in what ways is your company coming together and showing its pride with itself? I think this will help everybody else. So let me know. Leave your comments below. Thank you very much. One more article to cover about Vietnam today is about delivery drivers taking their chances outdoors to cash in. In this case, every time there's a chaos, every time there's disorder, there's opportunities to be made. And so let's read this article. In Hanoi, most passes are empty. Citizens practice social distancing to fight the virus. But for delivery drivers like Nam Nu Van, being outside is a must. From Nam Vinh province, he spends more than 10,425 a month for food and other costs for his four-member family, as well as school fees for his two daughters. I don't know if the virus will kill me or not, but no money will definitely kill me, he says. I earned more than 2 million yesterday. Others did not drive. If nothing changes, I can earn at least double for what I usually make, he added. So my point is here, yes, he's risking his life and he's doing his deliveries, but he knows so the bills have to be paid, so he has to survive, and he's doing what he can for his family. You know, I saw a headline today on the American side news that they were showing, like, I guess, a rent protest, trying to protest not paying rent because they couldn't go to work. But one thing I've always admired about people around me is that they're going to work every day. They'll sell hard-boiled eggs on the street. They'll do whatever they can. So I admire this guy, and just my point is, just don't give up. Just do what you can, or think of ways to survive, and think of ways to get your basic needs met. Leave a comment below. How are you coping with this? What can you do, or what will you do, or what have you thought you might do to survive this whole encounter and the change of your lifestyle? Moving on to Myanmar, I wanted to bring up another very important topic that involves this country along with many other countries. In this case, 5 Myanmar sellers were rescued from forced work in China. Let's read this article. This is actually a very important one. Chinese authorities rescued 5 Myanmar sellers who said that they were forced to work without pay as fishing vessels in Saigon province for several months, the Myanmar embassy in Beijing said. The sellers were rescued on Tuesday from the Panama registered vessel Island Referee, which docked to Zhoushan in Beijing. Now, I want to bring this up because it doesn't matter. Many people in Vietnam will get job proposals to go to China to find work, and then they're put in a factory and their passports taken. This actually has happened in South Korea too. I've known a few people that's happened to. And when your passport's taken, you can't leave. This also happens in jobs all over the world where even for human trafficking, they'll offer you a job, and okay, once you get a passport, you're at their mercy. And most Vietnamese have told me that basically when you're on these ships, the captain's the boss, and they'll throw you overboard if you don't do your work, and you might be out there for 6 months or a year at a time. So it's very dangerous and it's a very hard life, and I want always people to do is be careful when a job looks too good, or these are desperate times, but don't do something foolish. Make sure everything that you sign is legit and you're in good hands when you travel or you leave your safety zone. Leave a comment below if you actually have had incident where you were promised something and it turned out very bad. I'd love to hear your replies. Now, quite possibly the topic of the day: ultraviolet light can kill the novel bug. Okay, so they say. Let's read this article. According to the latest guidelines on the diagnosis and treatment of the novel bug by the National Health Commission, the bug is sensitive to ultraviolet light and heat. So ultraviolet radiation can effectively eliminate the virus. While this is known that if it was like 51 Celsius, it would kill the virus. That was a joke a few weeks ago, but basically nothing can live if it's that hot. This is interesting that they're posting this about the ultraviolet lights might be helpful in treating the virus. So, according to the guidelines, indoor space should be designated with ultraviolet light with intensity of over 1.5 watts per square meter. A UV lamp can disinfect objects with 1 meter for at least a half an hour. Longer exposure to radiation is needed, with temperature indoors to be below 20 Celsius or above 40 to relieve humans or over 60%. All right, so, well, are we going to go out and buy those ultraviolet? Now, as a child, I had one of those ultraviolet lava lamps. So maybe this will go spur all that. I don't know. Let me know about your thoughts below about if you think this is practical or not. And this was in a Cambodian newspaper. So tune in tomorrow for the new Loyal Real News. And have a good day. Please like, comment, or subscribe below. And if you want, this is a podcast, I will post a podcast link below where you can listen to this instead of viewing me. Tune in tomorrow. Have a great day.